Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast, where I, your host, Xavier Cruz, a lifelong wrestling fan, will take a lifelong friend through the action, the joys, and the drama of the world of professional wrestling. My co-host, Kelsey Silva, has been bitten by the wrestling bug, and I want to invite you to join us as I take her through the moments that made me a fan. So if you're new to wrestling and would like to get brought up to speed, or a fan who would like to relive some classic matches, promos, and segments through fresh eyes, join us as we embark on a journey through the Attitude Era and beyond. Welcome to the New to Wrestling podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. This week, we watched WrestleMania 13, and the match card is as follows. In our opener, we had a four-way tag team elimination match featuring the Godwins, Philip LaFawn and Doug Furnas, the Headbangers, and the New Blackjacks. We had the Sultan taking on Rocky Maivia for the Intercontinental Championship. In our third match, we had grudge match between Hunter Hearst Helmsley with China taking on Goldust with Marlena. In our next match, the tag team championships were on the line when Vader and Mankind team up to take on the British Bulldog and Owen Hart. Next, we had the submission match between Bret Hart and Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the Nation of Domination takes on Ahmed Johnson and the Legion of Doom in a Chicago street fight. In our main event, The Undertaker takes on Psycho Sid for the WWF Championship. All right. Kelsey's still reeling. So
I really don't even know what to do, say how to move forward with my life. I literally the whole last 10 minutes just dead silence, and then at least another 5 minutes of just silence after it ended, just like this.
Just processing, just absolutely reveling.
And not that I'm not excited about the outcome, because I'm
thrilled. Absolutely thrilled.
But I'm just it was like, wow.
There was so much during this pay-per-view. We have been looking forward to this one for a minute. It is the first WrestleMania of the podcast, and it will also coincidentally be our 1-year episode. I have been getting the notifications on Facebook from the countdown that I did leading up to the first episode, and it turns out that when this episode comes out, it will be our 1-year anniversary, which is crazy.
Wow. Not me about to cry.
But let's get into this pay-per-view because it was wild.
Oh man, overwhelming,
that's for sure. So the pay-per-view opens up with your standard opening promo. It takes us through basically the history of WrestleMania.
the
Pops up
drama
on the celebs of WrestleMania's past, and then and then it goes into each of the matches. Obviously, the caveat of the whole thing is that none of these men are smiling. So
yeah, that was it was like, this is such a joyous occasion and none of these men are smiling.
Yeah,
and you're
it was just ooh, like they got
it
grit.
Was so grit, right? Steel. It was so over dramatic in the best way. It's exactly what you want to see. It's like so put on.
Yes.
It's so put on.
Yes,
and I
yes, absolutely.
love it. 10 out of 10.
Amen. So our first match is the 4-way tag team elimination match. So the way that these matches work is that 2 participants in the ring at a time, same as any other tag team match. However, they are allowed to tag any member of any team. So you can on your team, not on your team, it's all fair game.
Chaos.
When one member of your team is eliminated, the entire team is eliminated. And the winner of this match, they didn't really do a very good job explaining it, but gets a tag team championship match on Raw. So in our next New to Wrestling episode, we'll catch that match. So that's going to be pretty exciting. So this was your first time seeing this kind of scenario tag team match, correct?
Yes, correct.
And and it was wild. These tend to be a lot more chaotic, a lot more fast paced, just because there's so many participants and there's just a lot going on. So before the match starts, they give us a little flashback to the OG Blackjacks, giving their little 2 cents in the ring, and then and then which takes us to like a flash forward to the new Blackjacks, and they give us a pretty quick promo. It's fine. It's standard.
Yeah,
Um,
it's, it
yeah,
wasn't
yeah.
bad.
No, not at all. So and then we get into the match. I first want to point out that both members of the Headbangers were wearing sheer skirts today, which
Work.
I lived for. One of them was
No.
wearing like the most off-putting colored stockings I've ever seen because it was like a vomit yellow green, and then the other one had
Uh-huh.
like a fishnet stocking situation going on. And
I am
I'm
into
here
it.
for all of this.
I'm so here for it. I like that their costume stays in the same vein but switches like pieces. I
Yes.
think it's interesting because like we're just so used to seeing the same thing every week of the same, which again makes total sense. It's part of their brand, it's their whole
Hmm.
thing. But I like that it almost like adds to the chaos of their character. Like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't even know what they're gonna wear. Maybe it's skirts, maybe it's kilts, maybe it's like I don't
Right.
even know,
Hmm.
but you just love to see it.
No, absolutely. And it's also it's very much goes with their character is that like
Exactly.
their brand is more just like the idea, like of like
Yes.
grunge or metal, like less that they are like specifically like in a band, you know what I mean? So I
Right.
we're again like harkening back to our like shift out of like the Monday Night Wars or shift into the Monday Night Wars. We're
Mhm.
shifting away from I'm an occupation. Like so
Yes, more ambiguity, more room to play around because they could just be like any two concert goers. Like they're
right.
just they're a stereotype. They're not necessarily like a character or like you said, an occupation or a whatever.
Right. Yeah. Which I love. I love the headbangers. They're just such a
Oh
good
my God,
time.
me too. So amazing.
Jerry has a little funny on commentary
He had a
because
few tonight.
yeah, he was on it. He was and
Everyone was A
it's the
plus,
excitement of WrestleMania. I think everyone was on their A game, which is what you expect. This is
which
the
what it should
biggest show.
be.
So he goes to Vince McMahon because he's making fun of him for not knowing any like rock bands or anything to do with the Headbangers. Basically, he goes, "Your favorite rock group is Mount Rushmore," and I was just like, "Yes, Jerry, come in with the dad jokes. Hit us with that good. Why not?"
Honestly, it's great because I kind of gave like not necessarily dad joke, but like teenager with like the dad who is like
Just like doesn't
obsessed
get
with
it.
like World War II. Like it's just
Mm,
like whatever dad, your favorite rock group is Mount Rushmore.
right.
Like you know what I mean? It just kind of gave that like bratty teenager with their dad joke
Right.
and
I
like
get
that
that.
it doesn't even land for the dad until like 2 hours later and they're like, oh what the hey? Like
Right.
I'm mad about
What the hey? What the even hey? That's crazy. So
Oh my God, so
the match
stupid.
is chaotic as by nature, but what is extra chaotic is how the Blackjacks and Philip LaFawn and Doug Furnace get eliminated. It was very
Okay.
not obvious and a little confusing to all parties involved.
I was
So
annoyed by this. I'm not gonna lie. This like annoyed me because first of all, like you tease the black or not tease the black because you give them a promo before the match and then they're eliminated within like 2 minutes.
right.
Like two of the teams of the four teams are gone within the first like 3 to 4 minutes.
Which
And
is
I'm
like,
and
why did we do
in a
this? Like, why
weird
did
way, yes. So then why is it not let it just be a match between the Headbangers and the Godwins then? I don't know. Like it
right,
was just so it was so weird and it was like you said it was confusing, didn't really see why, didn't see how, didn't understand.
right.
And
So it's
so why do it?
so it's confusing because both members of a member of the Blackjacks and a member of the of Philip LaFawn and Doug Furnace like get like double disqualified. I don't really know how. I guess because they took the fight to the outside and then like wouldn't break it up. But what made it confusing was since they had taken it to the outside, the other two teams were just like fighting on the inside. So like you missed the two teams getting eliminated because your focus by like just will naturally go to whatever's happening in the ring.
That's what
So
I'm saying.
that's where the lights are the brightest. That's where your eyes are going to go. So like
That
we were all watching whatever was happening in the ring because
yep.
that's what was happening. And then all of a
Sometimes the
sudden,
wrestling takes place in the ring. So
that's
that's where you look.
right. Yeah. So then they both get like eliminated, and we're just like, okay. I mean, I guess. And now it's just like a regular tag team match, which is
It
just like
was
we could have just done that from the rip. Like, we
That's what
could
I'm
have just
saying.
done that from the rip.
And when, like, you're like, "Oh, this is the first time you saw this type of match." I'm like, "Yeah, for, like, 3 minutes." Because I loved the idea that, like, you could tag anyone. Because like, Thrash from the Headbangers was tagging, like, one of the Godwin brothers in, and, like, at one point, Mosh and Thrash are both tagged in at the same time, so they're supposed to, like, quote, unquote, like, "fight each other."
Yeah,
And
and they end up just doing like a
their little
mosh
thing,
thing
their
in
little,
like
like,
the
mosh
center of the
thing.
ring. Yeah.
Yes, and so I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be so crazy," because there has to be a lot of strategy involved. It's like, who do you want to see taken out? And, like, if you're tired and you wanna, like, put away, I don't know, like, one of the blackjacks, like, maybe you'll pull in, like, you'll tag in Philip LaFawn. You know what I mean? Like, to
Right.
me, there could have been a lot of really good strategy and thought and, like, push and pull and whatever,
Right.
and, like, to eliminate those
Two
2
of the
teams right
teams.
from the rip is so crazy. Like, it made
Right.
no sense to me. I thought it was kinda
Mhm.
stupid.
Yeah, and like part of me, like I have no idea if that was the way it was supposed to happen, if something happened. I don't know.
So
But it
weird.
just all of a sudden was a regular tag team match. I
Tag
mean, it
team
was
match.
great. Like, don't get me
Yeah, it was
wrong,
awesome, yeah, but, like,
especially because I'm thoroughly enjoying just having new teams in the division. So like we
yeah,
are finally getting to see just combinations of stuff we haven't seen for the last year, which is nice.
yeah,
Because it's just very contrast in styles between the Godwins and um the Headbangers, like just night and day, really.
yeah.
So Vince has a questionable moment on commentary when he insinuates that Phineas does questionable things with farm animals. And
Mm,
everyone was just like, no, like I love that the commentary team was just like, no, 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 we're not gonna let that go. Like
no,
circle
what did you
back.
mean?
Yeah, I
Say it with your
love
chest.
right. I wanna yeah, exactly. And if like hindsight's like 2020, you like I
Mhm.
was like, yeah, that would come out of your brain, you weirdo.
Yeah, fully, like, you freak of nature, I don't know, because I guess, Phineas or whomever spit in somebody's face, and then that person spit back,
Oh
work,
yeah,
love to see it.
one of the headbangers, yeah.
Yes, because it would be. And the spit created a stir on the commentary for some reason, and Vince was like, "Not surprising to me, I'm sure he does a lot of weird things with farm animals," and everyone was like, "Hmm?
That's quite a leap, Vince. That's
Yes."
quite a leap. He spit in the man's face who he's in a fight with. Sure, like one thing. To banging farm animals? Come on. Wait,
Bestiality? How
I was like, make it make sense.
why did
But
your brain make that connection?
right.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, don't tell me. I don't
No,
wanna be an
literally.
accomplice.
No, no, no. We everything. Some things are better left a mystery, and this is one of them.
Yeah, please, no, no, no. La, 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 don't tell me. Never mind.
So Mosh does a very, very impressive a springboard clothesline while um yeah, Henry Godwin is on the outside. It is great. So he's on the inside of the ring. He like springboards onto the second rope, clotheslines Phineas off of like he jumps over the rope, clotheslines Phineas so that he like or clotheslines Henry. I'm having a time. So that Henry like smacks onto the apron and then rolls out like onto the floor. And it was crazy. Like
It was
just total
beautiful.
disregard for his body. He does miss the moonsault though. That looked a little rough, not gonna lie. 'Cause, I mean,
Very rough.
missing a moonsault's always gonna look rough. Like you just it's so pretty and then you're on your face.
Yeah,
So
it's just a belly flop,
right.
basically, if you don't hit it, yeah, fully.
So the match continues. Mosh picks up the pin over Phineas, which means that next episode of the New to Wrestling podcast, we are going to see the Headbangers take on Owen and the British Bulldog, which is pretty cool.
Love, love to
Pretty
see.
cool.
Yep.
We get an announcement that the next pay-per-view is going to be taking place in April. It's just another in your house pay-per-view. We'll probably learn what the actual title of the pay-per-view is when we
Mhm.
get a little closer. And then the Honky Tonk Man comes out and
Ugh.
joins us
Sorry.
on commentary. No, I get it. I
God. He is so annoying.
because
I
like
really had it.
it's just like at this point, like he's just like always on like he's always like, why are we making a big to-do every time he comes out? Like at this point, he's just like on commentary. Like he's part of the commentary team.
And I just and we'll get to it when we get into the match, but, like, he was, like, extra irritating this
Yeah.
match. Like, I guess again, he's coming out because he held the Intercontinental Championship for the longest amount of time and like, okay, woohoo,
Mm-hmm.
good for you.
Mm-hmm.
But he is like he's starting to like drift towards Bob Backlund vibes, and like you don't want to drift that way. You don't want to
No.
drift that way. And
Mm-mm.
I like not in terms of context, but in terms of delivery.
Yes.
And like
Absolute insanity.
yes, and it's really I just want him
It's
to go away so
grating.
bad. Yeah, fully.
So the Honky Tonk Man's just out here yelling, just
As he
yelling on
do,
commentary. Is he still looking for somebody? I guess so. Who
apparently.
knows?
Who knew?
Oh, I have a fun fact for you.
I love a fun fact.
So the Sultan and Rocky Maivia are actually related.
I did know this.
Okay,
I
yeah,
think
yeah,
I
yeah.
knew this. I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
this.
Okay, so um they are part of the same giant wrestling family. So that's always like a little fun little tidbit that like they're actually just like distantly cousins. So which is
Because
fun.
isn't there's a lot of them? Because isn't Yokozuna
Also
also
related in the same
related to them?
family. Yep. Hmm.
Yes, I did
Yeah,
know
yeah.
this.
So the Sultan is Rikishi, will become Rikishi. You'll meet him. But he is the father of Jimmy and Jay Uso, the Uso brothers, the tag team. Well, they're not a tag team anymore, but
Wow.
yeah, that's their father.
I love when that happens. I really do.
So the Honky Tonk Man was just obsessed with the Rock sideburns, which was interesting. He just like kept bringing it up, and he's like, he's trying to impersonate me. I was like,
He's trying to grow out sideburns, be
I,
more like me, and like blah blah blah.
I,
And we're like,
I was just like,
mm,
I was like, I'm pretty sure sideburns came around, I don't know, in like the Civil War era. I don't think you get
maybe even
the
before then. I don't think you have the co-op on that. And also, aren't you imitating somebody? Isn't your whole
right,
character imitating somebody with sideburns? So like, who pot calling the kettle black? I don't want to hear about it.
right.
I
That's
don't hear about it.
fine.
Your entire persona is based off of Elvis. Like, who are you to judge?
So yeah, amen. I don't know,
So
and so much. Listen,
go there with
honestly,
me if you want.
guys, at this point, if Kelsey sees the Honky Tonk Man, it might be on site. Like she might just like run up on his set and like just clock him,
Fully.
just based
He's
on principle. He has no idea who this woman is. He's,
nope.
he's
He's just out of the
out here.
and that's how I'm gonna get him on surprise.
He said he's out here living his life. I'm sure, or maybe not. I don't know. I haven't checked, but um.
He's probably like resting peacefully in the grave, and we're like, Honky Tonk Man can roll over and choke for all I care. Poor man.
I'm just saying,
Sorry.
like Kelsey might dig you up and pop you anyway. Like I
Ooh, right in the
did.
skull.
So I have a note that says just like so much arm flailing, and I didn't realize that it's from The Rock, and I didn't realize that he's imitating his
His
father.
dad.
It like didn't even like really track until his father comes out later, which we'll get
And
into.
and
But
does it.
yeah, and I was like, oh, I don't like it.
I don't
It's
like
it's so much. It's
while it was
just
happening, we were looking at
so
each other like,
much. Yeah.
okay. I
It's
don't
because it's just like if I was in a fight with you and
mm.
before you struck me, you like waved your arms I'm punching you straight in the throat. Like
I'm gonna be
I'm
like,
just like right in the throat while you're out here just like like imitating the wacky wavable inflatable like tube man. Like I'm like I'm getting you right in your Adam's apple. I don't care.
right in the moosh.
No.
Because right in your Adam's apple is crazy. I like and he did it so long, you have enough time to like look at your friends and be like, is this guy serious?
No,
He's so
actually,
quick.
that's what I'm
Be like,
saying. You know, you can literally turn around and be like, watch this. I'm popping right in
get
there.
a load of this.
So much arm flailing. And like
Oh my god, please.
and this is like the part where you start hearing like the Rocky sucks stuff going on in like the crowd.
Yes.
And like I think a big part of it, or at least for me, is like this era of Rocky is like it is not his own. Like it is just imitations of his father and grandfather, like very
Mm.
much so.
I was gonna
So
say that.
so it's
He's
like the combination of him being like one generally like a newer wrestler, and you have to like forgive a lot with a newer wrestler to begin with,
mhm.
and then like they've just kind of like pigeonholed him into this like duplicate of his father, and it's just like he needs to be his own person.
Yeah, because no one wants to see that, to be so honest. Like, I just don't think anyone wants to see listen, we've learned and this is an extreme case, but we learned the hard way with, fake Razor and fake Diesel. No one wants
We
to
don't
see
want
an
to copy.
imitation. We don't wanna copy. We don't even want, like, the weird occupation things that you're doing. Like,
Right.
so we need, like, it needs, like, complete originality, like, new something. So, like, I get the ode or, like, the nod, but, like, that's all it should be. And then, like, we
Well,
should
my
move
thing
along.
is you got the nod with the name. You know what I mean? Like
Fully.
Rocky, father,
Fully!
Maivia, grandfather. From there, he
We did
should be
it.
building on his own thing. Like
Yeah.
it's too much. He's pulling too much,
And that's
which
the point of, like, respect your lineage, I'm all about it, I'm here for it,
built.
but build off of it and create something new instead of
Mhm.
just, like, riding the coattails. Because then that's not great for anybody, like, it's just like, "Okay, and?"
Right. And
And
as
we
right.
know, right.
We know who
We
we
know.
know Dwayne the Rock Johnson. We get
I'm
it.
not that new to wrestling,
But
like, I
what
know
I'm
that
just saying, this era of Rocky, that's what it's missing. This is
fully.
where we're at.
And they'll clock it, they're gonna clock it, we know that, so it's not like this is off base, like, they're also gonna read the room, thank
No,
God.
yeah, the crowd is going to become more and more vocal about it.
We owe the crowd for 90s wrestling so much. Like,
Amen.
honestly, just wrestling crowds generally across time, like, we owe them so much because,
They're
like, when they're
fantastic.
displeased, they let you know and changes occur. They're like the original, like rioters, petition signers, like
Mhm.
activists, like they
Right,
get the
right,
things
right.
moving. Like we're boycotting, we're screaming, we're yelling, we're cheering for things we like, and
Uh,
we're gonna make changes and movements in
right.
the story we want. Like
Mhm, mhm,
love,
mhm.
love to see it. Amen, wrestling fans. Props.
Doing your thing. Amen. So Rocky hits the float over GDT, followed up with the crossbody. Always looks really, really good.
Hmm.
But of course, as soon as he goes to like get the pinfall, like the Iron Sheik's on the apron, just like
Mm.
distracting the referee. Um, I have a note that just says the Sultan pin stupid. He
Oh,
doesn't ever hook a leg. He doesn't ever like lay his like chest on the opponent's chest. He just two arms, just
like it's dirty.
two hands just like on his opponent's chest, and he's just like, okay, this is it. And I'm just like, you
Like a
have
purebred dog.
two of wrestling's greatest legends as your mentors, and they're letting you pin like that. That's crazy. I don't buy that
Crazy.
for a second. That's absolutely
No.
insane.
I'm so glad you brought this up too, because this is I feel like the first time, other than maybe when he was introduced, that the commentary actually mentioned like he is being trained by two of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Right.
Like because he just hasn't had any flair, pomp and circumstance, like for the caliber of wrestlers he's supposed to be being coached by,
Learning
trained
from?
by,
Yeah.
learning from. And, like, they were making these, like, juxtapositions between Rocky and the Sultan the whole time where it's like, "Well, Rocky's the rookie and Sultan's got experience and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "What experience? We've seen him, like, 14 times." Like, I
Yeah.
don't we've seen him, like,
And
almost as
it's
much. Go
yeah,
ahead.
and unless you like he's been there
Mhm,
like as a different whatever character, like so unless you like know that, like as a if you're just watching the television show, like you know what I mean? If you're just like taking in the information as the show is presenting it to you,
mhm.
it doesn't make any sense that you're like, oh, like he's like the veteran. I was like, they debuted like basically like the same like week and a half as far as their
Yeah, like,
characters go.
within the same amount of time. So I'm like, I get that he's, like, been here, but if you're going off the character, like, they're kind of the same. But again,
Right.
I don't know. It was just, like, I feel like we've talked about this before, but I feel like the Sultan, like, they could have done something more, some like it's weird that they're just bringing this up, that he's, like, should be objectively incredible because he's being trained by the best there is. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I don't know, just weird.
Anyway, the Rocky Maivia picks up the victory with just like an inside cradle. He goes to get interviewed by JR after, and then immediately gets attacked by the Sultan. And that carries on for like a little bit, and that is when Rocky
Mhm.
Johnson comes to save the day, which was a nice little moment, like
Yeah,
father
cute, love to
son.
see it.
They Rocky Johnson gets decked with the flag pole just
Crazy.
right over, and then they were like ripping off all of his clothes and just like beating on him.
So
Uh
weird.
So weird. So weird. So
Meanwhile, Honky Tonk Man is going, strip him, choke him, stretch him out. Like, and we're
yeah,
like,
what
calm down.
I was like, "Do you wanna help? Like,
Yeah, like, jump in
go."
there, I guess. Like,
Like, at
that's an
this point
that's a man. That's just a casual observer who came in to help his son. They're like, yeah, break his back. It's like, Honky Tonk Man, shut up. Like, the match is
Stop.
over.
No. Honestly. Yeah. What are you commentating on? Stop.
That's what I'm
So
saying. Your job is technically done. Shh, shh, shh.
I love this. I love this honky tonk man just hatred.
I literally went like from I hated him so much, and then I had respect for him because I found out more about him, and then I've gone right back to hating him. Circled right back.
Mhm.
Back to my roots. Ooh, he annoys me.
Amen. So Rocky and Rocky clear the ring. They have a beautiful little moment. They're like embracing in the ring. They like, do the little poses for the fans. And that's kind
Mm-hmm.
of that on that. It's just a nice little like father son moment.
Mm-hmm.
Still, I still think it's them just using the name to try and get him over.
Yep.
Is what it feels like. It doesn't feel like very like are know what's happening with him next. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. I am very excited for the next couple months. As far as Rocky's character goes.
Yeah, me too. I
It-
mean, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, we'll start to see the shift. So next we have Todd Pettingale, our 1997 Slammies host.
Oh, yeah. You guys, we watched the Slammies. I don't know if we mentioned that.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ooh, what a ride. What a ride that was.
Oh, so actually, since we're on the topic, we did watch the 1997 Slammies. We recorded a little mini episode for that. That is going to come out WrestleMania 40 weekend. So instead of a full-on After Dark episode, we know you're going to be taking in wrestling every which angle. So we decided to just keep it a short, sweet episode. It'll be the same day that the Slammies 2024 are happening, so it is very very on theme. We go
Mm-hmm.
over the ridiculousness that was all of it because it was a pony show that we were not expecting.
You guys, we went in with no expectations. We were like, yeah, let's just watch it. It was like,
It was
I
like a
don't even have
fever
the
dream.
words.
it was it,
Fully.
it was a
Fully.
fever dream from opening like 12-minute number to close.
I don't think that we have laughed that hard watching something like that ever. Like
Ever.
we
it,
giggle and laugh like watching wrestling sometimes and like the commentary afterwards, but that we were just like we it was just horror and like
and shock,
disbelief
just yeah.
and just crying laughing. It's on YouTube if you care to watch and
Oh yeah,
then
the
join
you
us
can
for the
watch the
commentary
full
afterwards.
Slammies.
But
You
you will not waste a second of your life, but also you will feel like you've wasted an entire hour and 30 minutes. Like it's so crazy the juxtaposition of feelings. So,
Oh, absolutely. So look out for that. It'll be next
mhm.
weekend. Definitely short, sweet, a little wild, but as are we. So
Work.
um so Todd Pettingale is interviewing Ken Shamrock. He's asked about the altercation with Billy Gunn that happened the prior Monday Night Raw, and he basically just runs down like every move that he did.
I love it.
He's just like, "Oh, I did this like shoulder like lock." And you're just like, "Oh, okay, sure." And he's like basically the whole time he's like, "I'm not trying to hurt him. I'm just trying to let him know who I am." He's like, once again, like I let him up and it's
I
like he
love a
he came
humble
at me again.
king.
He's like, "I'm just letting you know I'm not one to be trifled with." So I love that
Period.
energy. I really, really do. And then he gets asked about the Stone Cold Bret Hart match, and basically he's like, listen, I'm here because I know submissions. It's a submissions match. I'm am not going to be intimidated or swayed in either direction. And if they really want to come for me, they can try it. So
Mhm.
and I love
Love
it.
it.
It's just such a quiet confidence, I guess.
Mhm.
He's not
He's
like
so sure.
he's not like yeah, exactly. He's not like bashing you over the head with it, but he's like, try it and see. Like
Yeah.
it's the F around and find out energy, you know?
Fully, because he is well versed in the find out. So if you want to bring
Yes.
the F around, He's like, I will show you to find out if you like. And again, it's like, he's like, I don't wanna necessarily, but I have it in my back pocket if you'd like me to whip it out and show it to you.
Exactly. He's like,
I
"Don't make
love
me
him.
do it." Like, I will.
Yeah, don't make me sing.
Don't make me
Literally.
sing. So next we get an interview with Hunter Hearst Helmsley from Doc. Basically, he's asked about like the relationship between him and China. He's like, "You don't need to know. That's none of your business."
I
He's
love
like, "Don't worry about it." And basically then he goes on to be like, the biggest loser in this whole scenario is Marlena because she had the opportunity of a lifetime to come with me and she turned it down. So she's
girl.
gonna learn. Like I was like, okay, Hunter,
Sure, sure,
okay.
sure, sure,
I was like, if you
sure.
didn't absolutely slay us at the Slammies, I would not be putting up with your ass right now.
You guys. Okay, I'm not even saying anything because he ate it up at the Slammies. And it's the only reason I'm forgiving him
Right,
for today.
absolutely. Absolutely,
He's
absolutely.
creating a believer out of me, I won't lie. The Slammies really turned me. It turned me for a second. I was
I
like,
get
"Oh no. This guy
it.
love him."
I know you got to see the personality outside of the character a little bit.
Yes, and
That is
like
that is
it
much
made me
more in
excited for things
line.
to come.
Yeah, that's much more in line with Triple H, like who he is. Like he's very funny.
I know, yeah. I know where he goes in
hmm
a sense, not
hmm
quite, but
Right, right,
I'm like
right,
it made me so excited for what's gonna happen
right.
because I'm just like, "Ooh, that was like a little taste," and I was
hmm
so into it. Yeah, and yeah, him at the Slammies, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Again, next weekend. So, guys, Triple H comes out with China. China looking stoic as ever.
Incredible.
Goldust comes down. He's got a new fit today. It's like a variation on his standard outfit. And Marlena comes out with hitting us with the deep V. She said, "Hello, Main Street." Loved it.
Yep, she said, "Good morning. This way, please. Follow the arrow."
Yes, exactly, exactly. The
So
main event is
amazing.
here.
Yep, fully, fully. So good. I love them so much. Best, yeah, just the best.
So since we've been on a crowd sign kick,
Yep.
and we know that the Attitude Era is just far and away the time for crowd signs, that prehistoric meme culture. So we get a shot, and it just says, "When Hunter and China get silly, who has the willy?" And I am deceased. First of
No.
all, again, we're gonna put this in the 1997 context. We
Please.
know this is out of pocket. However, the fact that somebody took the time to put that on a sign and bring it to WrestleMania, you got on
Someone
TV.
said,
You did it.
"What if I rhymed silly with Willie?
And he's
What
like,
if I did that and put it on a sign and brought it to WrestleMania 13?" And you
yes,
know what? Thank you for your service.
right,
Did
honestly.
I want to see it? Not necessarily, but I did see it and I understand. And
hmm
it was great.
So,
The signs were A1. There was also a sign that just said, "Who are these bums?" Work.
I live for that.
Work.
It's like,
Who are these bums? I'm wondering.
uh, uh,
Inquiring minds would like to know. So
amazing,
good.
absolutely spectacular. So at one point in the match, Goldust is getting up onto the second like rope, and he turns over and spits in China's face,
Uh,
and much like kudos to China, she don't break for a second. That this I'm she could be watching just like car crash, like children on fire. That woman is not
she's like,
moving. She said, amazing.
she's like one of those like army trained dogs that like will not move until you give them like
Mm.
the command. Like
Oh, yes.
gunfire, tanks, like
hmm
fighting, like
He's
just whatever, and they're
absolutely
just like
resolute. Just
until you say like sick them, like the dog is not moving. Like she is literally just like, I'm here for one purpose and one purpose alone, and that's that man, and I'm
right,
not moving till he tells me to move.
right, which is crazy. Which is
Crazy.
it's just the having her in your corner.
I want one so bad.
And I live for it. I live for it because it's just the image of her in the
Hmm.
role that she's currently in, like never before seen. Like never
Never.
before seen.
That's
Like
why I said like there's just such a flavor that makes me like like, I just
I'm
love
interested. I
it.
want to know.
Yes. And I again, like, I knew people were gonna go the other way regardless, and I was, like, very disappointed in the commentary in this match when they started, like, kind of flipping that way too, because I was like, I love that they went the way where, like, big, strong woman, so amazing, so incredible, and I
Right.
knew people regardless were gonna be like, because she's not the
Mhm.
atypical whatever we would term as a woman, but I knew people were gonna do the, like, when Triple H and China get silly, "Who has the
Mhm.
willy?"
Right.
Like, you knew it was coming, and I liked that the commentary had originally tried to, like, lead people that way, and then this one felt like a regression because it was like, they made the joke about, like, "Oh, when there's the movie Gorillas in the Mist was filmed in China's shower,"
Right.
and, like, they
And then
kind of
at
went,
one
like,
point, like, JR basically just calls her like a horse girl. Like it
yeah,
was
he
so weird.
compared her to Wilbur and Mr. Ed, like, Wilbur being a pig and Mr. Ed being a horse,
Right.
like,
And it's just like low hanging fruit. Like
yes!
it's just like okay, I like you said, like I was very into it when she was just like presented as just like just this like ridiculously strong, like resolute, like this woman means business. And
Yeah,
like she comes out and she handles business. So this
business.
just feels like it's just like, oh, like okay, all right.
Like, it's that was easy. It was hard to do it was the hard thing to be like, "Yeah, she's the bionic woman. She's so amazing. She's, like, whatever." And, like,
Right.
to just, like, lean into, like, the BS is, like, kind of lame to me.
Hmm.
I liked that they were going the other way. But, I mean, because if you wanna do animal comparisons, like, Vader, they call him the mastodon. Like, go that
Right.
way with it. Like, I don't
No,
know.
I
It just was disappointing a little bit, but
no, I agree. I 100% agree. So the match continues. At one point, Triple H is twisted up in the ropes
gross.
outside, and that was absolutely yeah, Kelsey hates when things like that happen.
Well, because it just like, I know even though it's, like, quote, unquote, "stage," like,
Well,
that's
yeah,
horribly painful. Like, because it's not like it's easy to, like
get out
it's
of, first of
no,
all,
and,
like,
like, you can see it, like, squeezing their arm. I don't know, I just think it's so crazy, and at least it was his arms. When it happened to Mankind with his neck, that really, like that was
oh,
scary to me,
yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
really scary to me, but, it's also Mankind, so he
Yeah, man.
just is, like, willing to die, so, I don't know, but yeah, I hate when they get twisted up in the ropes.
Yeah, it just it looks just gruesome because
Yeah.
it's a trapped animal basically.
Yes! Yep.
So the match continues, and Goldust pulls out the what was dubbed the Keister Clobber. So at one point, Triple H is trying to jump from the like second or top rope, and Goldust just decides to throw that ass in a circle, just throw it
Work.
back. It just throws it back in his
I
face, and
can't.
it was amazing.
Literally hands on the knees, like, in the position, and just goes, "Boop,"
No,
pops it back. He said, "Listen,
mm,
you use all the materials you got available to
100%. And
you.
he said, "I got an ass."
I gotta like,
I
I got this new costume, and I got to ass."
got an ass. Was good.
And he threw it back, and it worked. That's the best part. It
Yeah,
worked.
and Triple H, you pointed out during this was just like the way that he sells. He even sold the Keister Clobber. Like he
Girl,
sells.
Triple H is one of my favorite wrestlers to watch because of the way he sells. He sells like it's almost cartoonish, I was said, like where it's like that like birds flying around the head,
Hmm.
like stumble, trippy fall, like and then when he falls his like back legs like come up. Like he just sells unbelievably. Like it's a clinic. It's just
Hmm.
so incredible. So even though he gets on my last nerve sometimes, like he's just so good.
Right. Right.
So good.
Hmm. So China starts making her way towards Marlena slowly but surely. I guess she got the green light, and
Mhm.
she it is like the slowest, most methodical,
Mm.
and it like just out like horror movie. I'm coming at you at the slowest pace, and I will get you, and I will kill
Mm.
you. And there is nothing you're gonna do about it. There's
I
absolutely nothing.
I was hoping she was gonna come over and be like, "Just come with us." Like, more
Hmm.
like, "Yeah, no, it's fine." Like,
Come
almost like
hither.
siren-esque, like,
Mm.
"Just join us." And, like, Marlena would just be like, "Alright." Like, not that I want that to happen, but
Right,
I
right,
was like,
right.
I didn't want it to be I almost wanted it to be more, like, innuendo-y, like,
Hmm.
"Come hither."
Gotcha. I
But
get it. So China's like making her way over, and like at first she's just kind of like standing in front of Marlena, just like scaring her, basically. Why Marlena like just stayed put, I'll never know. I was like, girly,
Run.
there's three more sides of the ring and like an a ramp. Get yourself to safety. I don't know what
Yeah,
like. Although we do know she stands by her man, so like it's
this is
not.
true.
We do know this about her, so maybe that's just she's just doing her due diligence.
Yeah, she can
And
watch him over there though. Like just walk around.
that's
It's a
what I'm saying.
360 view if you stand
Um,
anywhere around it.
right. But Goldust takes or gets wind of the fact that China is all over his wife, and he goes to like pick her up like just from the ring over just by the armpits like a child going uppy, like he
Yeah.
just scooped her up. Like picks her up, like places her on the apron. Triple H hits the ropes, bumps into Goldust bumps into Marlena. Marlena falls into the waiting
Launches.
arms of China, who rag dolls the
I hate
ever
it.
living hell out of Marlena, just
I hate it.
rips the life force right from her body.
Oh my god, it's horrible. While China is shaking Marlena like a rag doll, since Goldust has been hit from the back by Triple H, then Triple H lands the pedigree on him,
Right, right, right,
puts him
right.
out. So then Triple H is the winner. China drops Marlena, jumps into the ring. And I think they just leave. Like, I think maybe they beat up on Goldust a little bit and then they're like, toodles, and then they leave.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And they do their little bow, la la la. And then Goldust obviously picks up. Actually, I'm pretty sure China throws Marlena into the ring. Like, she just
Mm.
is like, oh, by the way, here you go. Here's your wife. And
You
then
can
they
have that
leave.
back now. I'm done with that.
Yeah, and then
Mhm.
so Triple H and China leave. Goldust is literally sobbing over the corpse of Marlena,
Oh my god.
the drama girl. I love
Like
to see it.
he like picks her up, like walks her like around the ring so that they're dead center. I was like, hit your mark, go for it. And then he drops to his knees, and like it might as well just be like raining on the two of them. You know what I
Fully.
mean? Like
The
he just
world's
like
tiniest violin.
just and he just like drops to his knees, like holding his wife and just like crying to the heavens. And I was
And if
just
that's
like,
not the energy, then I don't want it. That's the
you know
end.
what? That's
I don't
fair.
care. You know what?
That's
They're from
absolutely fair.
Hollywood. This is their shtick, their gimmick. And if my husband's not crying over my corpse like that, I don't want it.
You know, fair.
Make your way to the door because that I just love it so much. The so dramatic, and Marlene is laying there and her hand like shaky, like
Oh my god. Oh yeah, so withering.
amazing. I love it so much. I wish he would stop getting injured because it makes me upset, but he was full on like crying
I
over
know,
her
it was amazing.
and then carries her out of the ring as he do to seek allegedly medical attention, which we hope happens. But
And
what a crazy one. I mean, I
eh,
love that China is just she's just like the little zest at the end. Like, you know what I mean? Like she doesn't
mm-hmm.
do any, and it's funny because she is almost like the perfect juxtaposition to Marlena, who also normally doesn't do anything. Like
Right.
she also normally just sits there and
Mm-hmm.
deadpans and smokes her cigar and just like, and sometimes she'll like get in there a little bit with the gold dust, the bag of gold dust, or like the
Or like she'll
cigar or
jump up on
whatever.
the apron. Like it's very, but it's not all
It's
the time.
minimal.
Yeah.
I love the two of them together because it's like same but different. I like it. I like it.
And I love it. And this is like the first time that so basically the role she's in is what's called like the heater. And essentially like it's not a manager, it's not a valet, it's usually like a good example is Shawn Michaels used to be teamed up with Diesel. Diesel was Shawn Michaels' heater or his like his bodyguard or like the muscle behind, the champion or whatever. So
Oh,
it's cool that China is in the role of like Triple H's heater
I
because
love
it's like
it.
it's the first time a woman's doing it, and it's the first time a woman with like that kind of like physique to back it up. Like it is so cool that like she is the muscle to Triple H, which
I
is
think it's just
because and
amazing.
which is nuts because Triple H is 6'4" and like 260 pounds of muscle. It's not like he's like
Yeah,
I just love
like
that like
without
she's his
assets.
heater. Yeah, like I eat it up. I eat it
And
up
it's
every time.
Yes, and it's amazing because Triple H's character is supposed to be this, like, spoiled, bratty, rich guy from Connecticut, and you would not assume that the spoiled, bratty, rich guy from Connecticut who, like, is a snob, who also has objectified women his entire career. That
Right.
was his thing, that was why he had beef with everybody,
Mhm.
and he's using a woman
Mhm.
as his guard. It's, like, so good without
Mhm.
being like, "She's a woman, like, go girl, girl
No.
power." Like,
It
she just is who she is. That's why I like it.
Mhm. Mhm.
I
Mhm.
love it. It's so good.
Can't that has many, many more layers to come.
Can't
So
wait.
that's going to be super exciting. Next, we have our tag team championship match. So Vader and Mankind, managed by Paul Bearer, are taking on the British Bulldog and Owen Hart. Um,
Which we spoiled by accident. We already said who
it's
wins.
fine. It's
We
fine.
knew, kind of,
Guys,
probably.
this pay-per-view is very old.
Yeah, like, it's fine. You're all
I
gonna be okay.
listen, we do our best, but sometimes it's gonna happen. So this match was it's fantastic. Of course, Owens got new tights. If you didn't catch it, he's a two-time Slammy winner, and he needed us to know it. So not only did he come out with the two Slammies, he's got it on his tights so that when he's not directly holding the two Slammies, you still know. And
I
I
knew
love
it.
that about Owen Hart. I love that about yes, you actually
Me
called
too.
that while we were watching the Slammies. So
I was like, if he doesn't come out, I'm telling you his tights on, Monday or whenever the pay-per-view, he is like literally it's gotta say two-time Slammy winner because like there's no way he's gonna let that go. And again, commitment to the brand, he does it, which is why I love him so much.
uh,
He's
just
always on point.
amen. JR comes out to stir that pot
Oh my God. It's so
as he has
funny.
been doing. I love that JR has for some reason just taken the role of like the instigator in their relationship specifically
Specifically,
because
yeah.
because it's
Like,
not like I guess we've like given up on Razor and Diesel like just as a whole like fake Razor
bye.
and Diesel haven't seen them in forever and so now I guess he's bored. He's got to find something else to like fixate on. So every time Owen and Bulldog come out, he's like, "Hey, remember that time you hated each other? Remember the time you hit him? Remember that time you're like jealous and weird about it? Like, so tell me more, tell me more, tell me more." And
Remember that? Yeah,
Owen's just
literally.
like,
Remember the time you called Bulldog a loser on television? Everyone can go back and watch it if you want.
right. And
Uh
literally, Owen's just like, Owen does this so well because he like gets all in like JR's face, like stop stirring the pot, blah 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 blah. But he still answers the question. You know
I
what I mean? He still goes, "I'm the leader. I'm in charge. Don't worry about it. We have a match to win," and just like keeps like shoving it on. Like,
it's so great because he's like, "Didn't you say you were the leader?" And he's like, "Oh no, stop trying to stir the pot." Yes, I am the leader. But get out of our way. Like he just
yeah,
kind of like
it's
slips
so
it in.
good. Yeah,
Oh my God,
exactly.
he's just the best. He's just
It's absolutely fantastic because it just all harkens to just like him just being such a little shit. Like that is his
yeah.
whole character is just him being the brattiest little shit, and I live for it.
Yeah.
Um, this match was hard hitting, like more so than like I was expecting. Like yes,
Yeah.
I expected it from the side of like Vader and Mankind. They're big beefy dudes, they hit
Mhm.
hard, but it was on like all sides. Like they were really decking each other. It was nuts. So at one point Vader's taking his sweet time trying to get into like a Vader bomb position, and Bulldog makes them pay for it. He slams Mankind and then proceeds to slam Vader like within like seconds of each other, which is crazy. That is moving
Crazy.
around like 700 plus pounds just within
In the
like
span of 30 seconds.
right 100%. That's crazy. That's absolutely
He
insane.
is really just unreal.
A
So unreal.
amen. So, and this match is very back and forth. Neither team like is getting their like get pulling away with it. They are they are outside on the ring fighting when Mankind goes to attack the British Bulldog with a urn. or Owen with an urn, and Owen drop toe holds him so that Mankind's just face smashes into the urn on the floor. Unfortunately for Owen and the British Bulldog, Vader picks up the urn and proceeds to smash Bulldog's head in with it,
Mhm.
which was crazy.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't know why I've never brought this up before, but, like, whose remains are in the urn?
I
Like,
don't. Well, the thing is, like, it's Undertaker's urn. It was always Undertaker's urn. It was like
I
supposed to be
know,
the
like,
like source of his power or whatever. So like I don't really know, like I don't really get it. I mean, I know
and
Mankind like got it when he won that match, the Boiler Room Brawl. Like that was the whole
right.
thing was him like getting the urn. I just
Mhm.
don't understand why we are still carrying it around. Like it doesn't fit the team. Like if
'Cause
it's Paul, I
I
guess, but like it doesn't fit the team.
'Cause I thought that whole thing where Mankind, like, threw it away, we were like, "Woo, we're done with the urn. Okay, bye, girl." Like, that I thought that's what was happening, and
Right.
it's not what happened, and also, I don't know why for the first time today, I was like, "Who is in the urn?" Because whoever they are just, being used in every fight you could possibly imagine,
Mhm.
completely against their will. Like,
No,
that
absolutely.
whoever's in there, not
Not
resting in
not their
let me
final
tell you.
wishes, that's for sure.
And that was and you know what? Maybe it was. Who's to say? Maybe they're like, "Use me. Use and abuse my vessel." But I don't know,
Ah,
because who is this person? For the first time today, after a year of watching this
who's in the
watching
urn?
wrestling, I'm like, "Wait a minute. Who's in there?
Right.
Wait a minute," because they're like, "Ah!" Like, they're just getting, like,
Honestly.
thrown and tossed. It's so crazy.
Ugh,
Wow,
this match was super impressive. Owen with the spinning heel kicks this match,
girl.
crazy. He was hitting everybody with it. It was
He
and they were extra violent today. Like,
violent.
he
They
was
had, like, a
swinging
score
that
to
knee
settle.
around.
They were
Mhm.
like, "It's WrestleMania, girl. Like, I'm trying to get some hits in."
Ugh. Owen was on like a little bit of a roll when he gets absolutely slopped by Vader, just like hitting a brick wall. It was crazy. He had built up all
Mhm.
this momentum, like running around, climbing the ropes, doing drop kicks, and like in 2 seconds, it was just done. That's
Lights
over.
out.
Yeah, that was absolutely insane.
When Vader does that thing where, like, Bulldog or owner, whomever is, like, in the corner, and then, like, he comes over, just goes, "Ugh," and, like,
Oh, like
claps
splashes them
him,
in the corner. Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, "I know you can't breathe. I know
No,
you can't I know
you
you can't breathe."
literally all of your like your
Life force.
like your blood cells lose oxygen.
Exit.
They're all white.
Like, can't suffocating. It's really, really and he makes this noise that is so primal, and it ju you I'm just afraid. Like, I'm just like,
uh
"Huh,"
no,
and just
absolutely.
wild.
Owen on the outside performs a just beautiful last second belly to belly on Mankind when he's like running through him. Oh, it was fantastic. He just like
Mm.
takes him, yeets him. And it was happened to be right in front of his parents too, which I'm sure was like um probably a little show for his dad, who is like the runner of the Stu Hart's dungeon.
Which I
Um
forget sometimes. I'm like, "No, this man isn't," because 'cause they're always like, "Oh, there's Stu, like, blah, blah, blah," and
I
then
was
he's
like,
always just like
yes, he's old, like old, but like people, I was like, you are you forgetting what he has produced out of that basement? That's crazy. That's absolutely insane.
so many people, and he is so stoic. He just sits there, and I'm like, "Wow, this man, like, I know he knows wrestling, and the way he sits there and just analyzes it, I'm like, it makes so much sense
Mm-hmm.
of what you've produced because he's just, like, taking it in like a
Right.
sponge.
100%. And
Amazing.
I'm like, I don't know if this is like me like just projecting, but like I just feel like he had notes. Like he like at the end of the night he like went back there to both his sons and was like
Mhm. Like, "Good job, boys. Here you go." Like,
right.
he's not, like, necessarily, like, stingy with the praise, but it's not
No, no, no.
excessive, but he's just like, "Alright, good job tonight. Here you go. Notes."
Yeah. Not with 12 children.
Oh, whoop, whoop.
Mm-mm. No, there's not enough of you to give that much love.
Yeah, new, new, new. Little
Like,
sprinkles.
right,
Little
100%.
sprinkles.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What a sin.
Um, so Mankind hits Bulldog with the mandible claw and has him and
Mm-mm.
on the outside with it and just won't let go.
In front of his,
Just
parent-in-laws.
yeah, in front of his in-laws. Just absolutely won't let go for nothing.
Mm-mm.
So both teams get counted out because both Mankind and Bulldog are the legal members of their team. So the title does not change hands, and we like get to the end of the match, and Mankind just won't let go. Like won't
Mm-mm.
just has his fingers down that man's throat for way too long. Even like Vader is like yanking on Mankind's hair, just being like, "Okay, we get
We're
it."
done now. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-mm.
So
Ugh.
yeah, it was just bonkers.
Yeah, he like basically, yeah, Bulldog like passes out from the mandible claw as I would. I mean,
Right.
it's horrible. I will say it's interesting because they once again like talk about this conflict between Owen and the Bulldog. You get like no real taste of it other than JR trying to stir the pot in the beginning.
Right.
And even the end, like Owen basically picks up the Bulldog and like helps him, walks him out, like even helps him grab his titles because Owen would never forget the titles or the Slammies.
No, 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 no.
But they like walk out hand in hand.
Yeah.
Like no sense of conflict whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
so
weird.
interesting that they keep trying to like they like put it in and then they like pull it back away. And they like
Hmm.
put it in and they pull it back away.
Yeah. So it's
So,
like I not that I love them like as a
mhm,
team,
yeah.
but I just like I want the story to progress. I want
Yeah, like, I wanna know which way or the other at this
right.
point. It's like,
Right.
are we doing it? Are we
Are
not
we
doing
are we
it? Are we
solidifying or are we breaking up? What is
yeah,
this?
like,
Are we
that's
seceding? Like what's happening?
like, how many signatures do we get? Like, I'm just
Right.
wondering. But
Honestly.
because even, like, the beef between, like, Vader and Mankind is, like, kind of because they all just kinda, like, were like, "Well, bummer," and, like, left.
Yeah.
Like, no one was mad at anybody. Like, Vader, yeah, like, yoinked Mankind off of Bulldog and was like, "Hey, we're done now." But it was more like, "Alright, like, let's go." Not
Let's go.
like, "Oh god, let's go." Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was kinda
Mhm.
just like, "Alright, well, c'est la vie. Everybody out."
Right.
Like, it was kind of interesting. I wasn't mad at it, but I was, like, kinda surprised.
Mhm. Yeah, you'd think like they would be more miffed and not winning the titles, but hey, more power to you, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you're a bigger person than me, I guess.
Shoo. So, so next we have a promo of the Bret Hart Stone Cold match that is coming up next, and we get the whole recap. Just Stone how we basically the promo is essentially how Bret Hart became a bitter bitch, and like because it's just like
Ooh, what a journey.
or at least that's the way it was presented. I don't feel this way about Bret Hart. I'm just saying.
S
So
yes.
so it's just like imagine like you work 10 years to get to the top of your profession and then you leave. And we're like, okay, weird, weird. And then you come back 6 months later and everything is different. And you're like, okay. And it's like, and then it shows like Shawn getting interfering in his one title match, it's Stone Cold interfering in his entire existence. And it just like him just kind of like devolving mentally
Yeah.
over the following 6 months. So yeah, and then you're just like, okay, like this is where we are here now, which is these two people absolutely want to ruin each other's lives, which I
Yeah.
respect. I love it.
Yep, same. Love to see it.
So we gotta get into the first entrance, which is Stone Cold Steve Austin. So his music hits and he's backstage and he's making his way downtown. No, so he's like coming out and you get this like camera shot. It just says Austin 316 and then the glass shatters and falls and then Austin just like storms
Stop.
out. It was so cool.
It was
I
so amazing.
Yeah, I knew it was coming up, so I was like, "Kelsey, look." I was like, "You
Not
need to see it."
like, because it was basically just this big, like, black sheet of glass, like, covering the entranceway. Also, I didn't realize it was glass. I thought it was, like,
A
something he was gonna,
curtain.
like, bust through,
Mm,
like, rip through something, and then how did they even do it? The glass just shatters, and he just walks right through.
oh, so cool.
I I've never seen anything better. Like, that is they blew the budget on it, and I'm fine with it. I don't care.
Nah, it was
Throw
great.
it all away. Throw all the money at it.
Nah,
I
we got extra money at
I
WrestleMania.
love it. They said, "Make it. Make it rain glass." I'm into it. I loved it so much. Just the plain black with the white Austin 316, like, yes, thank
It,
you so much. Thank
It
you.
was simple yet effective.
Set design, marketing team, whoever was in that meeting, A
A1.
plus. Well done.
So
Sensational.
Bret Hart, we get a, your standard Bret Hart entrance. He gives his glasses to a kid. He comes in the ring, and it is go time from ding ding. It is like
Immediately.
it immediately. They are
Immediately.
all over each other. This is like a 20-minute match, and what is the most like the thing that like sticks out to you the most is the pacing of this match. They are just like go, 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 onto the next spot, onto the next spot, onto the next spot. And it is like super intense. They the match starts with Stone Cold just tackling Bret from the rip. They're like not even there are no wrestling holds for the first like little bit. They're just like rolling around on the ground. They roll out onto the floor, still beating on each other. They fight
Mhm.
all around the arena. Also, pause. Ken Shamrock had no
Thank
right
you.
looking like the
Thank
absolute
you.
just hottie boom body that he was.
Boop, boop.
I
I swear to God.
so
I was like, okay, wait, when are we going to talk about what Ken Shamrock was
no no no
wearing?
no no
Because
no
I
no no
wanted to
no no
because this
100%.
match was so insane. And then at the same time, it's Ken Shamrock in tiny little spandex shorts,
Mhm,
the tightest referee shirt you've ever seen in your life, buttons undone,
mhm.
in his little black like sneakers. No right.
No, what?
No right.
Absolutely no. I was like, sir. I was like, who let this slam piece be the referee? That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You would expect me to pay attention to all this going on right now with that in there?
Whoever did the fit, they knew what they were doing. They knew what they were doing because Earl's not coming out in that.
Mm-mm.
Earl's not coming out in that.
No, no, no.
Imagine
No.
they said, put this man. They looked at him up and down, and they were like, "I'm thinking spandex. What about you? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
do it." I. He was distracting. That's
It
how beautiful he was. Just
mm.
glorious, gorgeous, chiseled, unreal, professional. I have nothing but good things to say.
I'll shout it from the rooftop. I'll get it tattooed. I'll get it branded if you want. I don't care.
I'm just saying, a little shamrock right here.
Well, I was like, sir.
He looked like Popeye, just
Mm.
juiced,
Boop.
big,
Toot toot.
tight.
Absolutely. Shoot, I never want to spend more of my life. Jesus.
I'm telling you, I'm olive oil girl. Like, hey, I
Sorry,
can't.
we
So
had
crazy.
we couldn't go on with before we
It's out of the
just
way now. We can move on.
we can
Everyone,
yeah we can move on. So the two of them are fighting all over the arena, and the crowd is
feral.
going nuts. They're absolutely feral. They are all over the two competitors. You can literally see Ken Shamrock like while they're in fighting in the crowd, like physically moving fans out of the way. Like
I'm
you
so
are
impressed.
yeah, like you're in the way. So between the security and Ken Shamrock, they finally make it back to the ring area, and this match is just so crazy.
It's
They
unbelievable.
it's
It's truly unbelievable.
so they make it back from the ring, and Bret Hart gets thrown into the ring steps just in the most brutal fashion. The whole ring steps like move because he is hit
Mm-hmm.
so hard. And then
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold goes to pick them up and hit Bret with them, and Bret just like hits him in the stomach, and he like knocks it back, but the weight of the ring step like takes Stone Cold back as well, and it
Mm-mm.
just looks crazy. It looks like he like landed like on it, but like
It was
it was
bad. It
nuts.
was a bad fall. Bad fall.
And then Bret Hart starts working on his knee. So Stone Cold Steve Austin has this like knee brace situation on one of his knees, and Bret Hart is like, mine. And he is
Mm-hmm.
all over it. He's like, you made a mistake with that one. He said bullseye. And he was
Yep.
all over it. So then he spends the next like I want to say like 5-6 minutes just absolutely brutalizing this man's knee. Just
Decimating the knee.
uh
Decimating the
to
knee.
the point where he does a figure four leg lock around the ring post, just and it for way too long. It was crazy. You can
It
literally see like Stone Cold like freaking out because it hurts so much. Like it is crazy.
And, like, this one, because Bret Hart's done it before, but his back was kind of, like, on the floor, like, it was different a little bit different positioning. Not really, but, like, he was, like, lower. This
Mhm.
one, he was literally suspended. Like, there is nothing stopping his weight from just, like,
Yanking on.
yanking down. Like,
Mhm.
because at least when he was on the floor, there's, like, only a certain amount of pressure you can pull his whole
Nah,
body
he put
weight.
his core into it. He said,
He was curled up like a little shrimp, just, like, off the I mean,
off the
it was
ground, just letting gravity do, like, the work.
do its thing.
It was
His
brutal.
face was, like, beet red, sweating. It was, like, just unbelievable to behold. Like, the craziest thing I've ever seen.
So crazy. Uh, Stone Cold hits Brett in the back of the head, essentially. He's, like, trying to, like Bret Hart's trying to jump off the top rope. Stone Cold grabs a steel chair and, like, bops him in the back of the head.
Mm-mm,
Brett, like, falls over, and then he hits him with the most vile chair shot to the back.
mm-mm.
Just brings his arms all, like, past his head and just slams down, and you hear the thud of the chair smacking Brett's back, and
Mm-mm,
it is audible, it is palpable, it is
mm-mm.
gross. Like, it is a
I
vile
tasted
chair
it.
shot, and then they cut to Bret Hart's daughter in the
No,
crowd,
this
just
took me really out.
eyes over her, like, just hands over her little eyes, just, like, did not wanna watch any of her dad getting beat up. It was crazy.
I'm livid they showed me this. I literally was on the verge of tears, 'cause like, you kind of forget that they have families.
Right.
And that, like which, first of all, no disrespect, but why is this child there? Like, in a no holds barred, only submission match, just, like, watch your dad either, 1, beat the crap out of another guy or have that guy beat the crap out of your dad. And she was, like, 6, maybe?
You gotta I will say you gotta have to preface this with there are 12 children in that family who all
Yeah.
grew up basically learning all of this from a very, very young age. So it's probably
I
not that
know.
weird for their
I
family.
know. It's just, like, it literally broke my heart, like, this
I
poor like,
know.
cause I was like, if I was that girl, like, watching my dad, like,
Mm,
I was like, I would be dead because you think it's real. Like, there's no one that can really explain to you, or like you don't understand, like, that this is
right.
not real. And so, like, she
Mhm.
was literally like this, like, she couldn't even watch. And I literally got so emotional about it. I was like, oh my God, please, why would they show me this? I can't.
So they continue fighting, and Austin gets thrown into the commentary area, like,
Yeah.
fully just, like, head first. It's more the timekeeping area, that whole, like, but he's like, it is so awkward to, like, look at because his hands grab the bar, but the momentum of his body carries his face just, like, into that whole area,
Mm-hmm.
and he comes up bleeding like a stuck pig. That man was just profusely bleeding, crimson
Yeah.
mask. And this is really the first time that you've kind of seen anything like that. I mean, we had, like, Vader in the last pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
He got busted open, but he was one of 4 participants. There was a lot of other things going on. Like, it
Mm-hmm.
is a much bigger storytelling effect when it's like a one-on-one kind of match.
Especially
So
when, like, this where it's submission only. So it's
mhm,
like, okay, now Austin's losing blood, and it's a lot of blood, and we know that head wounds bleed more profusely than others, but it's like, literally, if he was like this, you could just see it dripping,
dripping.
like,
Yeah,
off
it
of
was
his face, and so now
crazy.
it's like Austin's losing blood, like, he's been thrown like, it added such an extra element to it because he literally has to be, like, has to submit, like, no pinfalls, no countouts, nothing else, like, and it just added to the effect of it.
A Yeah, it was crazy because it's just such a good visual. Like, you're just like, wow, that man is hurting. Like,
Yeah.
regardless of if you see, like, if you turned on the match at that point, you'd be like, oh, that guy's going through it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so um Bret Hart is taking a steel chair and just, like, taking the rounded edge and just just stabbing Stone Cold in the leg with it, essentially
Mhm.
from every which angle. Um That's when Stone Cold Steve Austin hits Bret Hart with a low blow as Bret Hart's about to like hit him with the chair again, and that's just it is like the most direct like foot on nut I've ever seen in my life. That man just
Listen.
it
Yep.
was could not have been more spot on. That man was a soprano after.
Yep.
It was crazy
We were literally like, well, at least we know he already has children. So if this is the
because
end for him, then
ugh,
that's okay. It's
amen.
bad.
Stone Cold then takes Bret Hart to the corner and starts stomping a mud hole in him. He like just kicking him to high hell. Stops for 2.5 seconds to flip Bret Hart the double bird, and then
So good.
continues.
Just pop, 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 pop.
Listen, there is nothing. There is nothing that Stone Cold could be doing that he wouldn't stop to talk more shit. Like there is like
I
nothing.
love that. Love that about him.
um. So then Stone Cold takes Bret Hart over to the outside of the ring area, and he grabs a like phone or like a microphone cord, gets back in the ring and starts wrapping it around Bret Hart's neck and like just yanking, just like starts choking the hell out of this man. You're like, oh, well, here, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
And Bret Hart like fumbles around, finds the ring bell that was left out onto the ring apron, just takes it and just pops Stone Cold in the head with it. And it was just so
Ding.
spot on. It looked great.
Really,
Uh,
really great. I don't know how he got that or where, but it just suddenly it was like you just knew. You're like, oh, here it goes. And then it's like boing.
Amazing.
So good.
And then Bret Hart puts Austin in the sharpshooter.
Ooh, I just got chills.
Ugh.
Ooh.
So Austin is it smack dab in the middle of the ring. He is basically laying in a pool of his own blood because you can see his blood just smattered every which way
Everywhere.
around the ring. He is just in it. He's struggling. He looks like he's in pain. The blood is dripping off of his face. He looks like he's like fading. He's not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, you think he's like done and out, and then he like confidently like tries to like get himself up, and he thinks like he tries to get Bret Hart out of the hold and it like almost does it, but Bret Hart's like is determined. He holds
Mm-hmm.
on, gets back into the position, and Stone Cold passes out from the pain instead of saying I quit or tapping.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And this was such a genius move as far
Fully.
as just the progressing both characters' story. Um and it basically this is the match that like makes Stone Cold. Because it it proves to everybody first of all how tough he is because he does what he says he's going to do. He
Yep.
never quits. uh it, it's like something to behold when somebody's like when someone's will is just more willing than their body. Like it is.
Yes.
And that is like what made Stone Cold just like a spectacle to everybody because just like, oh, that man like would rather just like lose his faculties than say I quit, which is so hardcore and badass.
Commendable.
It's
Commendable.
nuts. And just the visual of like Stone Cold just like profusely like bleeding and then he just like passes out. Like he just passes out in a pool of his own blood and it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And I think that Ken Shamrock did a really amazing job as the guest ref. Like
Mhm.
so good because he literally like he was so loud. He was like, "Steve, like
Yeah.
are like do you quit? Like have you if you don't answer me, like I have to call it."
Yeah.
Like and literally like then Stone Cold passes out and then Ken has to call it. So it made it clear that it wasn't like there was no tomfoolery, there was
Mhm.
no whatever.
Right.
And like technically Bret Hart's winner because I literally was like if Bret Hart doesn't win, like I don't know what's gonna happen. Like I didn't know how it was gonna go because I really felt like Bret Hart had to take a win because
Mhm.
otherwise, like then then what? Like at this
Right.
point, it's like okay, now you really are just like a losing loser who loses. Like I don't know what to
Right.
say. Like,
Mhm.
and I don't want that because I love Bret Hart,
Mhm.
but I also Stone Cold. I mean, the glass breaking, the whole thing. Like I just like you just also want to see him win. So this was so so perfect, so
Mhm.
well done that they did this, like 10 out of 10. I
Right,
mean,
because it made Stone Cold look like a bigger star. It
yep,
made him look like so tough and
yep,
like puts him in a position with the crowd because at the end of it, they were all chanting Austin. We're gonna get into the last little whatever happens, but this
yeah,
also sets up Brett for turning to being a bad guy. We've been seeing the mental like decline over the last few months of him getting like just like absolutely walloped, just like cannot catch a break. So he finally like gets the win and it's still not good enough for him. So he then starts attacking Stone Cold while Stone Cold is still passed out, like trying to put him back in the sharpshooter, like attacking his leg. And that's when Ken Shamrock like literally grabs Bret Hart and throws him onto the ground and is like, I like we're not doing this. The man is passed out. Like what
love.
is this? So it's like twofold. We have made Stone Cold into the like main event star because that's Bret Hart is was the guy. So if the guy can't put him down, that boom, now Stone Cold is in that same just like echelon. And
Mhm,
now we are getting the flip of Bret Hart where it's like, oh, the guy you like knew and loved who was just like, the strict professional out the window. We're not doing that anymore. He's like, if it's different, this is the like, oh, like if everybody's playing with no rules, I'm playing with no rules. We were like, we want to see it. This is it. Uh,
mhm.
so it twofolds like it served its purpose for the both of them and they both ended up looking better because of it, which is exactly what you want from a wrestling match is you want both parties to come out looking a little bit better whether they win or lose. That's kind of the end goal, you know.
Yeah, I have to say, like, and I guess we'll get into it, I guess, because it's not the last we see of Bret Hart at WrestleMania, but it is like a little sad for me to see him turn. Like, I don't know why I feel that way because like I wanted it sort of, and I understand why because I've said it multiple times. Like, I would also be pissed. Like, I would
Right.
also be just so violently enraged by like the things that kept happening. And like now
Hmm.
you've essentially won this match that you said you were going to win. You're the excellence of execution, blah blah blah, but it's still not enough.
Right.
And like it's like disheartening, no pun intended, to like to see him like start to like it makes me sad a little bit. I don't know why. And I think it's because I haven't known him as long, so it hasn't gotten to this point where like the gimmick is old for me yet.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean? So I'm just like, ah, like I hate that this is happening to him because
I
like I just
know.
want him to, I want him to like win cleanly and just be like, bye.
Gotcha.
And like that just can't happen. And I know why. I understand, and I'm sure I'll very much enjoy heel Bret Hart. But it just was like for it took me out of it for a minute. I was like, oh man, like
I know, I get it. It's
I'm so
but
sad.
I know, but it was time as far as like Brett's character, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, it was time. And it makes the most sense just with everything that has happened. Like it was coming. The signs were there.
Yeah, like, and how long is he gonna be the bigger person? Like, I would
Right.
be La Vida
And we
Loca. Like,
saw
I'd be so mad.
on Raw like he fully snapped. So like it was coming.
We got there. We got there.
Next, we head backstage for another backstage interview with Todd Pettingale with the Nation of Domination. Essentially, the gist of it magazine is that all the crooks and the criminals are here, essentially referring to themselves as crooks and criminals, and that they were going to wreak havoc on Ahmed and the Nation, or
Mm,
sorry, the Legion of Doom, rather. Um, it's just it's we are the nation of domination. Yeah,
you're standard. You're
yeah,
standard.
yeah, yeah. You're standard. I wasn't mad about it. It was fine.
Yeah, yeah.
So I thought it was great that they kept mentioning that during the nation's like entrance that they had all of these things. They're like everything but the kitchen sink, everything but the kitchen sink. And I was like, oh, okay. So the uh when the Legion of Doom comes out with Ahmed Johnson, first of all, they're wearing like these matching like armored football pads essentially, and they look crazy.
They look incredible. Like they basically so like obviously we know Legion of Doom has like the pads already with like the spikes and stuff like that. Like so then and they're black, whatever. And then Ahmed Johnson comes up behind them in his own set and it's
Oh,
red and it was just so good. I was
yeah.
like, they said budget, don't know her, get Ahmed the costume. I
Mhm.
want to see it. Like, it was so glorious. I just love it so much because he was like a part, it was like a cohesive team with their little fit, but he was still different because it was red. Like, I hope
Mhm.
that is like he has it still or someone still has it because like what
Right.
an iconic shot that was the three of them standing there with like the football pads with the spikes. Like it
100%. And it looked
so
like
so good.
it just looked like a elevated version of like the ones they normally wear, just like like just the spikes were bigger. Like it would,
Beefier, shinier, pointier,
and I would
just
be remiss in not mentioning that they brought the kitchen sink. They
I
literally brought a kitchen
you
sink with
guys,
them, and I was living for it. It was
what
great.
would you have me do? What would you have me do other than shriek at the top of my lungs? They're talking about no the kitchen, nothing but the kitchen sink, everything but the kitchen sink. Here he comes with the just a kitchen sink in his hand.
Absolutely phenomenal. So this match, absolutely like absolute
What
chaos from bell to bell. So it is
what
essentially
even happened?
run in the same style as like a tornado tag match, which means all parties in the ring at the same time. Um yes, okay, so they're like
I was
regular
like,
tag.
"What?"
Okay, so tornado tag matches are, it's still a tag team match. It's just that the participants don't have to tag. That's the tornado of it. It's just all parties in can come and go in the ring as they please. So this is
Okay.
essentially, because it is a street fight, run under the same rules, because there's no disqualifications, no countouts, all that good stuff. And it's just chaos. They use trash cans, they use street signs, they use the fire extinguisher more times than they probably should have. They like, it was nuts. Clarence Mason got bopped. Like, even he got in the fray, which is absolute insanity.
Amazing.
Farouk was going nuts with the nightstick. Don't know where he got it. Don't know why this is like becoming like his like weapon of choice. But like, that man's always roaming around with a nightstick. Like,
Suddenly.
yeah, which
I
is
don't yeah.
crazy.
I don't know if you noticed, but the 2 by 4 this was I cracked me up. The 2 by 4 that Legion of Doom and Ahmed brought was signed like, it had LOD on it, as if,
Love
like,
that.
property of LOD, "This is my 2 by 4, you may not touch." Because like,
Right.
Farouk and the Nation of Domination also brought a 2 by 4, and they were like, "No, but this one's mine, LOD." Like,
Right. Right.
I
100%.
love that.
Might as well have been like Plank from Ed and Eddie.
That's what I'm
Um
saying, that's what I'm saying, and I kind of liked it because it also, showed how much it changed hands. Because like, when you saw the LOD, but, like, a Nation member was holding it, you're
mhm,
like, "Oh, okay, so I don't know how that got over there, but, like, now that's over there," and then suddenly, like, Animal had it, and so you could,
right.
like, kind of track how much that 2 by 4, like, changed hands, which I also liked.
Right. So, oh my god, we got a botched pile driver on the French
Oh my
announce table,
god.
or what was supposed to be on the French announce table. So
So bad.
Animal is trying to take up Farouk into the like a pile driver position. But the thing is, like, these are not the like big ass thick announce tables that are of today. This is a essentially a fold out table
Yep.
with a tablecloth on it, and you can
Yep.
tell by the way that it is just violently unstable,
Mhm.
and that it looked like just the weight of the two of them, because they're both like 300 pounds,
Mhm.
was just like making the whole thing just like not stable. So he goes to like just to pile drive him, and they both kind of like fall like off the side. Like, the
Yeah.
table doesn't break, they just kind of like land awkwardly like on the floor, and then they just like cut away from it because they were just like, oh,
Yeah.
that
I
was
don't
not supposed to happen.
Yeah, and I think also the tablecloth looked slippy because even when he was getting up there, like it kind of like the
Right.
tablecloth was slippy, and he kind of got him up into it, and I don't know if it's just because he was like, I actually don't know if this is safe to do, and just kind of like flopped them. Like I'm sure they also fell, but like he
Right.
did get him at one point, like kind of in position, and then it kind of just all like went to shit.
Right.
But like, yeah, but also I just feel like Farouk is so big, and not that he's the biggest, but like, because this is like, I feel like the second time someone's tried to pile drive Farouk and it's gone miss. Like, it just kind of
Right.
didn't really work. Like a
Mhm.
while ago, I feel like someone else tried to do it, and we are like, like that didn't,
Right.
and that just in the ring, like not even on a table, but like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
it was. We were like, ooh, no, 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 don't need to. And then, yeah, like you said, they
Right.
just cut away. They're like, there's plenty of other action. We don't need to see a botched pile
Mhm.
driver off a table. So
No,
off we go.
absolutely. So the commentary team was choking on fire extinguisher fumes half the time, which I found more amusing than anything else because it just
Fully.
like I was just like, oh, okay, they're really like going to town on that.
And they couldn't really keep track of the match anyway because so many things were going on, so it's like, whatever, now you can't even see, who cares? It's a crapshoot, whatever,
Right.
like,
And then
can't breathe, can't see.
at one point the nation like pulls out like a noose. Why are we using a noose
Why are we
on
using
television? Like
no,
what are we doing? Like what
no.
first of all, like it was just it's just in poor taste. Like why
Poor
are we
taste.
using a noose? Like a whole ass noose. You literally could have used anything to choke them
You
out
could
with.
even use rope, just not in the shape of a noose. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
because
It's
we
the
literally saw Stone Cold wrap cables around Bret Hart's neck earlier.
right.
Perfect example. Use ropes, use the ring, use
It
literally
did not need to be a straight up noose.
no,
Nobody
no, no,
needed
no.
to see that.
No,
Like
bothered me a little
yeah,
bit.
I was like, I'm okay. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, new.
We really could have just let that lie. We did not need to go there.
Again,
Um,
if you bring rope, just loop it. We don't
right.
need to tie a full noose. Yeah, not for me.
I don't need the imagery. Thank you very much.
Nope,
Like
no, 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 no.
so on the other side of that, a fun weapon that they used was this giant street sign that just made all of the wobbles every time they went to go
So,
use it.
the woo, 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 like when you shake those
It was
signs,
yeah, it was comical.
it was
Um,
amazing.
so they the match like ends when they essentially like clothesline Crush with the 2x4, like essentially like just like in his like neck, and they get the victory after that. But the best part of the entire thing is when the uh who are they? The the singers
PG-13.
PG-13, the singers of the Nation of Domination, henchmen, general lackeys, get put up into the doomsday device, and they both
Mhm.
get taken out at the same time, and it's beautiful. It's like
So good. I
it is a work of art.
I love that they did the tag team finisher with Ahmed. Like, again, it was so perfect because there were so many moments, obviously tons, where they were alone, like, they worked
Right.
by themselves and they were, like, strategic, taking out nation members, ba 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 ba. But there were moments where, like, Ahmed was getting choked and, like, Hawk or Animal would jump in and save him or, like, whatever, and then to do the Doomsday Device finisher with, like, one person's on Ahmed's shoulders, one person's on, like, Animal's shoulders or Hawk, whichever, I forget which one actually does, like, the jumping,
I think
but
Animal does the jumping, Hawk
okay,
does
so yeah, Hawk got him up and then Animal, like, jumps and double clotheslines both of them, like, it was a great way to round it out of, like, they really did work so well as a team. It was
Mhm.
really just, amazing. Also, poor, D'Lo, I mean,
He always getting the short end of the
he's
stick. That
taken
man,
those hits. He is eating sour grapes the whole time.
I
I mean,
they better they better get that man in the
he's
ring, a storyline, a name. I
oh,
know
but
his name is D'Lo Brown. They have not announced his name as D'Lo Brown.
he
um,
has so many, he must have literally, like, a Tupperware full of receipts he can cash in at any time, like,
Amen.
he
He been
takes
just
licks,
mm-hmm.
and he sells it. I mean, he's amazing. I think I asked last week, I was like, "Are we gonna see more of him?" Because, like, he actually is incredible.
Oh, yeah, no, he's great.
Yeah.
And yes. So and we have gotten to our main event, which was it was just spectacular. So good. So it is the Undertaker challenging for the WWF Championship against Psycho Sid. So
Mhm.
first things
Yeah,
first, our boy Shawn Michaels comes out,
for
which
14 minutes,
Wh
14-minute entrance.
I live for it. I was just
Love.
like, "You know what?" I was like, I was earlier in the show when Hockey Talk Man came out, and I was like, "Why are we giving, like, commentators, like, these grand ass entrances?" And I was like, wait a minute.
I take it back.
I take it back. Sometimes it's warranted." So,
Yeah, I wish the fit was different. It was underwhelming. WrestleMania, I feel like we need something else. We
mhm,
need, like,
mhm,
because we know
mhm.
he's such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful man.
Right.
I feel like we needed a little more juice, but that's fine. I'll get over it.
Yeah, I get it. I get he's technically off, so I guess that's why
Yeah,
he's, like, played it down a little bit. We do get a Psycho Sid promo. It was relatively
normal.
it was fine. It was,
Yep.
we had our typical volume changes, and but it was pretty short and sweet. The gist of it's like, I'm not scared of the Undertaker, and I'm the only one who's not. So,
Yeah.
I will go out there and handle business. Is basically how that goes.
Yep.
I have a note that just says the Undertaker's entrance will never not be cool.
Fully.
It's just always really, really cool.
Fully.
Just to watch it and just to see everybody in the arena just like simultaneously be in awe
Stand. Yeah.
is cool. Like,
Yeah.
we know this. It's just a great entrance.
Yeah, and it's funny just because we were coming off of, like, Psycho Sid's promo, and I was saying, like, "Well, for Psycho Sid, that wasn't that bad," and Xavier was like, "Well, I'm just, like, tired of the gimmick. I'm tired of," and I was like, "No, I fully agree," and then, like, Undertaker's entrance comes on, and we're like, "What I'm not tired of is this." I mean, I never get tired of
No,
this.
no
Like,
one
this
gets.
is so
And the
good every time, and it's never changed, really. I mean, like, barely.
Right. And like it was a little extra like throwback because
Oh, yeah.
Undertaker went and did just like a color variation of his like original fit. So instead of having that like purple like gloves, purple stocking sock things going on, they were like in a, like a gray kind of situation today.
Yeah, because I guess he was honoring his debut, because his debut was at WrestleMania?
Now his debut was at Survivor Series, but
Oh, okay.
it's just I think that he wore something similar in his first WrestleMania.
Got it, got it.
When he took on Jimmy Superfly Snuka.
Yes.
So much to the surprise of most, Bret Hart comes out and grabs a mic, and we were like, oh,
I was
like
yeah.
we were like, what's going on?
Why, girl?
Essentially he goes and first things first, he goes and addresses Sean immediately. He's like, oh, like you can like take that pussyfoot injury and like go find your smile or whatever. And Sean just
Which was great,
being the
though.
absolute like a-hole that he is, he's like, I'm so scared. And you're just like,
So good. I love when Shawn Michaels is on commentary. He eats it up. He is so, so funny.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's
Oh,
like, ooh, also, why was Vince standing behind him? Which was also weird. They like cut to Shawn Michaels and Vince is like standing over him, almost like protecting him. And I was like, Vince, go sit down.
I don't know, it was weird.
It was so weird. But yeah, Shawn Michaels was like, ooh, I'm so
Or
scared.
was he hiding from Bret Hart because Bret Hart kicked his ass on Monday?
Kicked his ass. Maybe very possible. You're gonna stand behind the one injured man, and okay, fine, but
Sure.
whatever.
You thought Jerry was gonna do something about it?
Huh. You know what? It's a valid point. Valid point.
Um,
I'd take Shawn Michaels with a knee injury over Jerry in peak physical condition any day.
right. So, I'm sorry that I just settled and I was like, that's brutal, but it's so true. So
Listen,
Bret turns to Taker and is like, when you slam that door in my face, like that slammed the door on our friendship. Like, there's a new set of rules between us.
sorry.
And I was like, maybe I don't think the Undertaker has friends. It's just a nice thought that you
I
thought
don't
that.
think you guys were ever friends. Yeah, I thought that, and then Shawn Michaels was like, well, he went the other way. He goes, I don't. When was the last time Bret Hart actually had friends?
Yeah.
And we are like, I
Amen.
mean, he really, yeah. I mean, he was
And then
calling everyone out, and Shawn Michaels had to answer for everything.
no, fully. He goes, and then he turns to Psycho Sid and he's like, "You are a fraud. Like everyone here knows that like I am the best there is, best there was, best there ever will be, and that title is mine." And like he was just going off, and then Sid power bombs Bret practically through the mat, just absolutely
I hate to
um
see it.
loses it. And he's so annoyed that he feels the need to grab the mic, and he grabs it, he goes, take your whining ass out of here. And it is the most genuine, easy, like just effortless promo I've ever seen out of Psycho Sid. It
That's
was
all we ever needed, Psycho Sid. That's
I was
all
like,
we ever
that's
needed.
what I'm saying. I was like, you don't gotta do this whole like weird psychiatric shtick.
Yeah, this is great. You're just a big, big man. Just be like, get your whining ass out of here.
Yeah, I was here for it.
Done.
um so Oh, yeah, so that Bret Hart, like, licks his
Gets like
wounds,
carried out by like 10
get
people.
right, gets sent to the back, and so the match begins. This is just, again, another hard-hitting fight. They're just two massive dudes who are both very athletic for the size that they are. So, uh, you can kind of tell early on that Psycho Sid's like game is just to like wear down the Undertaker. And
Mm-hmm.
if you know anything about the Undertaker, that is no small task. That is not that is usually not people's like MO.
Mhm.
As when they're trying to like come at the Undertaker. It's usually like, I got a backup plan. I got this dude over here. I got this dude over here. I'm trying to like
Mhm.
break his knees real early. I'm trying to sneak attack
Mhm.
him. Like it's very like it is very rare that one either competitor is going to be facing somebody that is their size,
Mhm.
and two, it's very rare that someone comes at the Undertaker with a very just like straightforward game plan. It's
Yes.
usually very sneaky, very debaucherous. Like
Yeah, and I
so
think Shawn Michaels said something like that because, like, Sid's promo was like, "Oh, well, I'm not scared of the dark, like, blah, blah, blah," and then
uh,
Shawn Michaels like, "Well, sometimes it is good to be a little afraid because then you can be a little more strategic about, like, what you're dealing with or something," and
right,
I was like, "Oh, I feel like that's a good point."
right. I get
Shawn
that.
Michaels.
So at one point, Sid kicks Taker over the Spanish announce table, just like
Mm.
rears back and just like launches him like into the two Spanish announcers. Poor guys. That was
I
absolutely brutal. Like,
like, I don't even know if they had time to get out of the way, I think they just
no, they were
were
just under the Undertaker. Like,
I
when would they have had time? He
what
reared back with all 7 feet of his legs and just like yeeted the
ye
Undertaker onto these two poor announcers.
And
They
by the way, next door, the French announce table during the Chicago street fight match, at some point someone does like smash Farouk into the table, the French announce table, and
Oh,
is
Ahmed
destroyed.
Johnson absolutely like he body slams Farouk like through the table. Both monitors land on top of him. Like the French announce team is
Is
just
like
also dismembered. Like it's a mess. Like
the more they decide not to replace the table for the French announce team, so they're sitting there like
they get
holding their mics
nothing.
just like this,
Yeah. Yeah.
just raw, just holding it, and like no monitors, just a dream, like just
Mhm.
sitting there like and,
Yep.
like, then literally next door, now the Spanish announce table, completely taken out, monitors, announcers,
Mhm.
everything just destroyed by the Undertaker's flying catapult of a body.
So during this little section of the match, it is like announced that both Psycho Sid and The Undertaker had gone to Gorilla Monsoon and requested that this match be a no holds barred match. So this is there
I did
are
not know I
yeah,
missed
so
that.
technically they're fighting in a no holds barred scenario. So like the fact that they got to spend that much time on the outside of the ring is why.
That makes sense, because when they said it, I must have missed the part where they had both gone to Gorilla Monsoon and asked for that, because I was like, "Oh, that must have been established," and I just, like, missed it, but okay, that's I love
No, no,
that.
no.
They were
Yeah,
like,
it
"No,
was
I
just
wanna beat the crap out of that guy.
yeah,
No holds barred."
right.
And
I
let me tell you, no holds were barred.
No, absolutely not. So Sid is getting like increasingly frustrated that he cannot put away the Undertaker. You can see it just like as the match progresses, like that is the story, is that he can't put this dude down for the life of him. Like he is coming at him with his best work. Like
Mm,
he's all over the Undertaker, and like really it is probably the most adept like wrestling you see out of Psycho Sid, because
bully.
typically he all he got to do is stomp stomp slam. So like this he's really got to like he's out of his element, and it's starting to show because he's like just getting more and more frustrated. Like at one point you audibly hear him like be like, God damn it. Like he just keeps trying to shove the Undertaker's shoulder down and like keeps going for like multiple pins one right after each other because he just can't do it.
Mhm.
And I'm living for it because that is the
Yeah.
Undertaker's whole game. He's the undead baby.
You
Hello?
can't kill the undead girl. Like, it gets I mean, because it gets so desperate to the point where, like, the tables turn and Psycho Sid does Undertaker's move,
Right, yeah, yeah. So basically,
right? Yeah.
Sid goes and tombstones of the Undertaker and thinks he's like got it. And like, mind you, that would be one hell of an exclamation point to a match if
I
Psycho
was,
Sid
like, really
beats the Undertaker with his own move. I
because
saw your face was like,
I was like, because he even did, like so he tombstone pile driver tombstone, and then literally, like, sassy looks around, crosses Undertaker's arms over him to do the pin. I was like, "I will kill you with
right.
my bare hands if you do this." I was like, "Please don't let this be it because I will." And, like, why wouldn't it be? I literally was like, "I've just so much hurt has happened. This would happen to me.
This
Like, this
this
would
would be the
happen.
Undertaker, yeah.
This would happen to The Undertaker." Like, I was half expecting Paul Bear to show up and, like, do some tomfoolery. Which is
Ugh,
also why this match was great because no interference. Only Bret Hart with his little chitter chatter in the beginning before the match even started. Love to see it. And like when he did that, I was like, I will lose my mind. And then it doesn't work. Undertaker's own move doesn't work on him. Mm.
amazing. So shortly after that, Bret Hart makes another appearance because he just can't keep this man down. But this time he comes with a steel chair and absolutely nails Psycho Sid with it. He's
I
just
blacked
like,
out. I completely forgot that happened.
yeah. You were like, no interference. I was like, wait a minute.
I
Um,
completely forgot. Wow, that made me
so
mad again.
so
I
yeah,
because I
so
was so mad when it happened because I was like, Brett, stop it. Like, stop doing this. And again, I'm the one that complained. I was like, well, if you're gonna be about it, be about it. And here he is being about it, and I'm annoyed.
I know.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry
HBK
to
on
everyone.
commentary is just like he's just bitter. Like, and
Shawn Michaels is like, ew, oh,
no,
look at
literally, like
it's
what is
so
this
funny.
behavior? That's so
So
weird, Brett.
embarrassing, Brett.
I know.
Ew.
So good. So Taker obviously takes advantage of this. He takes Sid up in the choke slam and does it really well, considering that Sid is like his height. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
not easy to do. There's not much more up you can go. Absolutely nails him. Sid kicks out of the choke slam. Brett comes out again. This man just is the worst in this match. He comes out
Mm-hmm.
again. He gets taken care of. I'm pretty sure Sid like knocks him. Finally, like gets taken like out by like 16 referees, half of the backstage like buffoons. Like this man just needs to go. Like this is like too much. And
Yeah,
so then Taker really takes advantage of the opportunity, hits Psycho Sid with the tombstone, and gets the victory.
guys.
So the
I can't.
Undertaker finally gets his comeuppance, and it is the sweetest on the grandest stage comeuppance I've ever seen. It's so good.
I think I was in such shock because I kept waiting for something to happen. Like I
Right.
kept waiting for someone to come out and ruin it or like him like I kind of thought, which I really like I would have died if he like has the championship belt or whatever and then like Paul Bear like reappears and like tries to
Mm,
like make amends or something. I'll kill you. It's on site.
mm,
Like I don't know, because there was, like, such a like, a little chunk of time left, and I was like, "What is gonna happen?" I don't know, I was so nervous, I thought it was gonna go
right.
awry because he just had so many moments where he has to, like, eat the lemon, and I just hate it,
Yeah. But
and
that's the thing though, is like that's what makes this moment so like
so good.
because for the last year, like and this is like and you can go back and listen like every time something happens to the Undertaker, Kelsey's like,
Um,
can he just get one
one
without
clean
somebody?
win.
Yeah. And not that this was
Unreal.
necessarily a clean win, but like still.
A win nonetheless, and, like, I think that I'm gonna have, like, delayed excitement. Like I think I'm gonna wake up
Mm,
tomorrow and be like dandy. I'm gonna be like, woohoo! Like Undertaker's
right.
the like, because right now I'm just in such a state of shock that it actually happened. Because like
Hmm.
they do giveth and they do taketh away, and I for some reason was expecting the taketh away. I don't know, but I'm curious because, and I don't know if this is a thing or I'm just reading too much into this because there were certain moments where I feel like Psycho Sid didn't really sell. Like when he falls, like literally directly on his testicles. Like, and like we were like, ooh, and Psycho Sid just like doesn't react. I was like, I wonder. And then when Undertaker won, I was like, I wonder if he was like annoyed that he wasn't like that he was losing the belt again and like was kind of
No, because I feel like you that's like decided and like known long before you get to this point.
right.
I think he's just not a very great seller.
Okay, he just sucks. No.
No. Well, my thing is like when you're again, like he's doesn't have to do it a lot.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I
true.
mean? Or at least not to the degree that like it's easy to like no sell when you're the giant in the scenario of the match because like it's believable that the smaller competitor doesn't have as great an effect on you depending on like
Yeah.
what's going on. What's he should have been more over the top with it considering that it's the Undertaker who is the same size as him. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
it should have been a more like He should have just been selling it more because of just the size differential in this
And
was
I think
non-existent.
yes, and I think because Undertaker isn't like he sells in such a specific way because he's like undead, quote unquote. Like
Right.
it's not these like overt like expostulations. It's like kind of like, he'll get like woozy and whatever, and then
Mm-hmm.
he's very deadpan because he's the dead man. Like that's his
Right.
thing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think when people fight the Undertaker and they like really sell like crazy, it just kind of adds like that extra
Mm-hmm.
energy. And again, like Psycho Sid, I guess that's not really his thing, so it also makes sense. But I don't know. I was like, is he bitter? Like I can't
Mm-hmm.
tell, but that's good to know.
But you like going forward and also like going forward, but it that to your point, like somebody who can sell really well for the Undertaker is Sean. Sean and the Undertaker have like just chemistry. Like the two of them are absolutely just like they understand their role and they do it so well.
I love
The
that.
Sean it gets retired by the Undertaker
I've seen a
years and years
spoiler
and
of
years
that.
later. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's
So
so good. I haven't seen the whole thing obviously, but I've seen like a little clip of it because now my feed is so much wrestling.
right,
Grateful. And it was crazy. It was
right.
insane.
No, yeah, absolutely. And it's just like it shows like the respect they have for each other, the chemistry they have for each other. It's just like he Sean does such a good job making the Undertaker look larger than life. Not that the Undertaker necessarily needs Sean to do it, but the
Mhm.
fact that Sean does, and like because Sean is like probably the best seller out there, like it just elevates all parties involved. All parties involved. It just
Mhm.
always looks fantastic.
Yeah, I love that.
So, how thoughts on your first WrestleMania of the pod?
I mean, it was insane. I mean, we had a submission match or submission only match where it got like soaked in blood. We had a
Mhm.
Chicago street fight where someone literally like used garbage cans. And I love that they literally brought a kitchen sink. I mean, we had both of the foreign language announce tables destroyed.
Right, right,
Undertaker
right.
is the champion. We have them fighting in the crowd. Undertaker is the champion. I don't even know how to feel or be. Bret
Mm,
Hart is turning. Stone Cold is like one of the best anti-heroes that we're watching just form into this exalted
absolute juggernaut.
like I
Yeah.
yes, I feel like he's supposed to like levitate like into the ring now. Like I don't even know. And no one
Mm-hmm.
sells on the Titantron quite like Stone Cold. I mean, he's just really taken it and brought it to such heights
Mm-hmm.
already. But I just there's a reason it's the biggest wrestling event of the year. I mean, it goes
Amen.
without saying. It's just crazy. It's amazing. It's like I love that they just blew the budget on all the little touches you want to see, all the little
Mm-hmm.
details, the glass breaking, the costumes, like the drama, the
Right.
vignettes, the promos. Like everyone was on point. There wasn't one bad promo. There wasn't one bad interview. Like
Mm-hmm.
it
It
was
was, yeah,
just
everyone was on their P's and Q's. That's for
P's
sure.
and Q's. They know what it was. They knew what it was. New champion.
I,
I cannot believe
man.
Undertaker's a champion. It's like a new era. I don't even know how to feel. I'm just like, I just love him so much, and he deserves this. He's so important.
Uh,
So,
all right, guys. This has been this edition of the New to Wrestling podcast. Catch us this Saturday, where we're going to go into part one of the rise and fall of ECW. We'll take a break next week, and you'll just get a slammies as far as After Dark, and then we'll pick up with part two the following week. So just stay tuned to the social medias. You'll catch us.
yes. Wait, before we go, because it's our 1 year, I just want to say we would not have the New to Wrestling podcast without Xavier and how hard he works. It's literally insane. You guys have no idea how much work he does behind the scenes, and it's literally overwhelming, insane, fascinating, just beyond beautiful person, beautiful, gigantic brain, does all this work. So we would not have it without you. And I'm just so grateful that you had this idea. This whole idea was Xavier's, by the way. This whole idea was Xavier's. He invited me along for the ride, and I'm so grateful. And like we would not have this amazing experience with together with us, with all of you guys, with our friends, our family. It's just been like the best year ever, and I'm very grateful to you and everything that you do.
Oh, thanks.
Xavier
No,
can't take compliments well, so we can just
No, I really can. I'm if you like inside I am 15 shades of red and about to vomit. So, thank you. No, honestly, thank you. And like there is nobody else I would do this with. There is nobody else who one I would feel comfortable subjecting to this much wrestling and would be confident that they would stick around. And two, we have just known each other for so long that our dynamic is this is just who we are. Like this is how we interact on most subjects. So like
Fully.
like
Yeah.
we're basically always in a state of podcast whether we're actually recording or not.
That is so true.
we
Wow,
just we just
disgusting.
think that we have lots of things that need to be heard. No, but
Well,
thank you seriously. I do very few things for extended periods of time. I'm an Aries and impulsive. So,
yep,
the the fact that we're sticking to this has been it's just blown me away. I love doing this and it is
me
the
too.
most fun part of my week.
Same.
So, so thank you. We will catch you next time.
We'll see you there.
Bye.
Bye.